scene begins with Ulric Ashwood traveling to the Prophet's Quarter. Not a place he goes to too often. He travels through the whole city every now and then, but it's a place he seldom visits. To discuss political and maybe religious matters with Rasim Mahfouz of the Salubri. As he enters a mosque, Rasim himself talked about in Ulric's company some time ago. Ulric himself hasn't dressed up too ostentatiously, again, not trying to be too show-offish. Doesn't want to be rude to anyone, and he's not really displaying his faith here, as he would consider that also slightly rude, as this is a place of different faith. So he doesn't go around gate crashing a mosque, as it were.
When you see the mosque, there's a center. It more looks like a mosque, and there's a community center in the mosque where people gets healed. There's you see actually Rasim is in front of the mosque saying goodbye to the people who's leaving after the nightly prayings. It's different that Muslims praise 5 times in a day, and the males come to the mosque, and in the nighttime the Rasim leads the prayings. He can only reach to one of them because the only one of them happens at night, and he will see Ulric coming towards him, and he will smile. He will say goodbye to the last people who's leaving. The Ulric can see the gas lights are open, and he will see a couple shades inside. There are still people inside. You can easily understand, as he is a noble, this place is probably offering refuge to the people who doesn't have place to stay. So Rasim will smile to the Sir Ulric Ashwood, and he will say, welcome, Sir Ulric. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Likewise, it's quite a sight. I was hoping to talk to you about matters.
He nods. Let's go inside to the room in the mosques. If you do not want to enter the mosque, we can always go to the healing center. He waits for you to choose, like.
He kind of has a bit of difficulty choosing, as he doesn't really mind either. So he'll choose the mosque. He literally goes through the motion of like he doesn't really seem bothered. So it's kind of obvious on his face. Yeah, he'll just mosque.
He will enter the mosque, opens the door, and you see inside is warm. There's the two, I don't know in English, but like 2 things to make mosque warmer. And he will slowly go towards the room where he is having his conversations, and he will let Sir Ulric enter first. He will close the door, and you see, after the door is closed, there's this little ring behind the door. and he will motion for Sir Ulric to sit, and then he will sit himself. I could not stay to see you to put your name into the place, Sir Ulric, but I don't like being around to the dead humans.
Ulric looks concerned for a moment and says, what do you mean? I understand the barony comes with certain requirements, but I wasn't around at the time to have them told to me.
The red man has arrived with a corpse, so again I do not enjoy seeing dead people.
Ah. Oh, sorry. I thought you said something else entirely. Yeah, let me see. Okay, then he just says, yeah, then you just ask what you mean, and then he's like, the red man. And the red man, I have not heard of this person. Who is he? So brazen as to be carrying around a corpse. As he kind of sounds a bit aggravated at that.
He is a man who goes around naked. All over him was blood, and he was saying that we were making a lot of noises. We need to be more silent. I asked to leave because he was carrying a corpse. He come near me, hold my face, said that be silent. I did not want to break a fight in that place, so I just nodded at him, and then I left. I couldn't see that you put your name on. Again, I apologize. I should have stayed more, but keeping beast at bay is something that I pay a big attention.
Oh, yes, it would be most wise to leave before things escalate. There was a bit of argument, I suppose, or something of a spat after you had left, but it was nothing serious. No one got too hot and bothered.
I have heard that one of your clan member did something that I would not expect. Let's just say.
He kind of looks up at the ceiling. His head doesn't move. He just looks upwards and then looks down again. Yes, he did.
It's unexpected, Miss Ulrich, but please, Sir Ulrich, but don't take it personally. Some people just act. They just question things because maybe it's their edicts, as we all follow edicts. But again, some acts need to be followed, or I should say, you should not say the river is red if you can't prove the river is red, or if you can't back it up, the river is red. If you know what I mean.
I think I understand.
He knows.
He's guilty of a little bit more than just causing a public incident, but I won't go too much into that.
Of course, your clan business is your clan business. I'm sorry for talking too much about it.
Tis no problem. We have it under control now.
He nods. You see, roll me perception empathy.
Yeah. 4 successes.
You see, when he says, like, it's good to know, like, he You see that there's a curiosity there, how it ended, how it happened, but it's not like he's not rude enough to ask. But you see that it's not the conversation about that thing is not ended yet. You see, like maybe in this talk there will be a topic will might open again.
Hmm.
Then he says, so I heard that you have put your name for being a baron. It's a noble goal.
Thank you. I was considering it for some time. I was. Guess I was. He kind of filters through his words. Damn, I can't actually remember the saying. Oh, there we go. I remember now. Testing the waters. I didn't want to go forth without offending the whole city. I believe the La Sombra are in a bit of an interesting position, considering the post-war circumstances.
He knows.
But I believe I can use it as a point of reconciliation.
That
Perhaps.
is brilliant to hear.
Well, the war is over, and defeat, if anything, is to be accepted graciously, and there's no point in holding bitter feelings or starting new conflicts for the sake of vengeance.
He nods again. So, Sir Ulric, it would be weird for me to say there's not a lot of men like me in this world. I'm an Imam. I have always a man who questioned accept my faith. I believe in Allah, and I'm a Imam. I'm teaching to people. I am doing whatever is necessary to help the pilgrims and the small folk. Because, as we both know, the world is not light as we think it is. There are darkness in the world. And it's not just your clan's darkness. I do not mean that, of course. I mean about the real darkness in the world. There's a lot of things. As you have seen, as you are a knight, and you swore oath for Christianity, I know, I have heard about the oath, and I know that any man who swears an oath to protect the people who can't defend themselves is a good man. But I need to ask questions again for the future of Edessa, so we can be sure that there won't be another problems in the future. The As you have heard, the Job, the child of the Ezekiel, says that 20 people will be given to the Jerusalem every month. 20 people. May I ask, how do you think to provide it? How do you want to send it? Because, as you have said, that being a baron does not end with being baron. As you said that you put it a good thought, I hope that you have the answer of this question.
Ulric thinks for a moment. This information he's not particularly pleased by, as he doesn't like traffic. It is pretty apparent that the concept of trafficking people is not appealing to this man.
Okay, but I got it.
He's he doesn't break down or get super angry. He just looks a bit agitated.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few ways we could go about. I could go about that. None of which are pleasant. Of course, we wouldn't just be picking people up off the street. It would be a grave crime. Perhaps the lesser of two evils here would be to send people who are already imprisoned in some context.
Outlaw.
Pardon, what did he say?
He asked like outlaw, but like the way that he says is, do you mean outlaw?
Outlaw.
Like
Yes.
no. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
No doubt. There is also somewhere probably many other trafficking operations going on underground. People being smuggled to here and there.
So you will use people who cannot defend themselves? Wouldn't interfere with your oath?
I'll do my utmost to avoid that, and just try and send those who have already broken the laws or committed crimes so egregious that it does not break my oath, hopefully.
He nods.
He kind of gives a bit of a wry smile. Obviously, this information was very new to him.
Oh yeah.
And he says, I suppose that is politics, trying to reconcile one's ideology with practicality.
He nods. Myself and this is a question for Odessa. This is not about Jerusalem. This is another question for Odessa. My question will be is, I have met a knight recently. Knight which was, he was not disrespectful, but he did not have respect as well against Muslims. As you know, Muslims they're not the most populous ones, but their population can't be ignored, as I'm among them. What do you think, and how Muslims or the Jews will be seen in your rule? I believe that as a man who works with a night hospitaller, I just wonder that this is I just thought that this should be one of the questions that I should ask.
No, that seems like a perfectly reasonable question. I would, definitely be trying to keep religious tensions down to a minimum, both among the Kine and the Canaanites, as that would just spur on another conflict that we don't need. And I have no intention of putting one faith over the other. I am perhaps in the minority among my faith when it comes to that regard. But we all worship the same God, regardless of what we call him. At least in my point of view.
You see he smiles and he says, "So does mine."
I believe if I have some sway with the nobility in the military, so at least on a lawful front, I can prevent conflict. One of my clanmates has some pull with the religious populace as well, and I'll be working with him to keep tensions down and cooperation up, as I simply do not see the need for conflict, really. It's something
What did he say about someone in his clan? You were cut off there.
Oh, within Ulric's clan, within the Sombra, who has some pull among the religious populace, who he says he wants to work with to keep tensions down, at least on the Christian end. He says he wants. It's a question as to whether he's actually going to, of course, because he said he wants to. He's not entirely certain how that's going to turn out yet. Maybe you get the impression.
I just rolled for to make sure.
Yeah. He definitely seems to want to, but he's not sure of this individual's point of view yet. So he's held off on saying that he's going to. He seems to be. It seems to be something he wants to do, but not maybe is entirely certain he's actually capable of doing just yet. And when it comes to keeping religious tensions down, he's totally telling the truth, though. He's totally going to do that. It's just this individual in particular he's talking about. And he says that if the prior crusades taught me anything, it's that there is nothing to be gained from blind belief other than meaningless bloodshed.
He knows how I always wanted to keep people safe. That's Muslim, Jew, Christian, it doesn't matter. Human is a human. It's all the creation of Allah, and that's how I believe. You can say that it's creation of God, and even if they're wrong, they're still humans. So I just feared that a new Baron could think that, he will treat Muslims or Jews as second citizens, because I haven't seen any Muslim or a Christian, Muslim or a Jew entered to the race of Baron.
That is true, although I'm not entirely sure of the faith that Gale heralds from. I'm more of the route he follows, but not the faith.
He follows Road of Kings. That is. Let me roll intelligence or to, say shit about that roll. I have 1 success. On 10. I was creative, right? Yeah, I was creative, but it's not gonna work on this. So I have 1 success. I have heard good things about Road of Kings. Don't misunderstand me. Not saying that he is the best suitable person for the job. His road is something that admirable, but his blood is problematic. The Ravnos known as charlatans. And as he looks like a really good person and really good insight on what he wants to do, I can't be sure about him because of his blood. But as a La Sombra, you were a High Clan member.
I'm sure of his desire, but I'm not sure of his person. I'm not sure how he intends to go about. I suppose that's a way of going about it. I just haven't really heard how he's going to structure things yet. He talks a lot about structure, but I haven't heard the details, I suppose, yet. It'll be interesting to see when he gets to round to stating his plan.
May I hear your plans about structure?
Well, when it comes to Canis society, the first two positions would be the Chamberlain and the Sheriff. I wouldn't need any more than one of those. The Sheriff would need at least 2 hounds to work with, perhaps 3, depending on how unstable the change in power structure affects the city. Hopefully not too badly. I believe most Canaanites already look like they're adjusting perfectly fine, so it shouldn't be an issue.
I agree we are doing good, but it doesn't mean that we will continue doing good.
That's true. I would appoint a scourge to help ward the borders of the city for those who would seek to incurge on its territory without due respect or permission, and to help defend, to aid me in my quest, I suppose, to defend it from the I can't remember how the Seljuks, the Turks, essentially.
Seljuks, Turks.
Yeah, Seljuks. As they seem to be getting perhaps a little bit too close for comfort recently, and it may destabilize mortal society, which in turn will destabilize our own.
The Turks are Seljuks, they're raiders and warriors, and they're serious threat to both Christian and Islamic lands. Damascus is already owned by a Turkish dynasty, and it's closer. There are rumors, but I hope they're false, because, as I have said, I don't like wars and I don't like dead humans. What will be your policy for domains? Do you have any domains that you will think about giving certain people? For now, did you promise any place to anybody?
I have not made any promises to any individuals yet, though they're free to submit a request.
What do you think about Old Town and Prophet's Quarter? We are in the Prophet's Quarter, as you know. Here's the map.
Thank you.
And here is the city districts.
Yeah, because I don't actually know much about either of those places.
The Old Town Oh yeah, you can read. Old Town is there, and
And Old Town. Ulric seems more curious at the question more than anything else. He says, well, I don't have anything against their existence if I'm not sure I understand the question, sorry.
I said that. What do you think about Old City and Prophet's Quarter for their future? You said that you did not promise anybody, but it does not mean that you do not think anybody deserving of those places. He smiles. He continues saying, "We just would like to, we, as me and myself, my friend Cosmo, would like to know that what you think about those places." And
Old Town, because of its history, and I suppose it is something of a neutral ground, would make a promising Elysia. Maybe not the entire town, of course.
well,
He kind of says that as in obviously not the entire town because that's way too
yeah,
big.
the you see, he smiles and says, "The Central Market would be also good Elysian place. Old City is in a place where is a city. The Old City. Let me actually read it again because I know something about it. I would say the Central Market would make a better place, but of course, it's up to you. The reason I said the Central Market is it's a nice place. It is okay for social feeding. It's in the lower side of the Central Market where the Arab slums, Jewish quarters, Salt Wall slums, Abraham Fountain, and the Baldur's Gift is also close. And it's near the Prophet's Quarter. I know already one other person who's living there. But again, it will be your barony, sir, not mine. He smiled. And my friend Cosmo was interested in having an old town for himself.
I'll be certain to discuss that with him sometime. I'm always up for advice.
He will be happy to meet with you.
I would hesitate to give the entire area to him just because it makes up quite a sizable portion of the city.
Well, we will all need allies and friendship in your barony.
Very true.
The
Is,
Please continue. I'm sorry for.
just no problem. Casimo have formed a rather fast friendship, I guess you could say.
He knows. The What do you think a baron should have as a quality? Like, what do you think baron should have as skills, talents? I'm not talking about our Cain given arts, my lord.
Well, I would say one of the skills they'd need to have would be presentation and negotiation skills to properly deal with the Princeton they'll be regularly discussing matters with. And they'll also need to be prepared to make sacrifices. They'll need to be able to put Odessa ahead of themselves. I suppose it is fortunate this is a more democratic process. He seems slightly unfamiliar with the word, of course, not ever having seen a democracy in action. So we are able to choose and filter out the ones that may appear too eager to.
Roll me perception empathy.
Yep. Well, only one success. I don't know.
You see, he liked your answer.
Oh.
I believe negotiation is a really important part of being a leader. As you are right of a leader should put what they own in front of them.
Oh, is that what he says?
No. You see, he's going to say something, but like he hesitates, but then he gets his shit together and says, "I do not want to bring any ill intent, but I would like to say something, as you have said that you're always open to advices.
Of course.
This is something which will make people see you as a leader, because everybody knows a baron needs negotiation skills. I have heard one of your clanmates has. That's something that he should not do in public. And if you can persuade him, can negotiate with him to follow you, I think it will send a really right message to those who doubts you. Is there anyone who doubts you? I think that it will prove that you have negotiating skills. My lord, I'm sorry if I overstep my bounds, but this is just a free something that you something that I wanted to say. And it's sometimes, even when I first became a Muslim, I didn't ever like my teacher, but he taught me a lot, and in the end we part ways, but we had to negotiate to continue exist. He smiles to you. He does not say, like, he does not put any sarcasm. Like, he doesn't say anything like, you, like, bring that bitch so I will vote for you, or anything like that. Like, he just says, you can roll perception empathy, but he says what he says with, good heart.
Yeah. Ulric seems to greatly consider this. And says, of course, 'tis no problem. I requested it after all. No, that seems most wise, and I would not like to see one of my own brethren fall by the wayside. Despite the disruption his actions may have caused, I believe he can be reasoned with.
He nods. He seems happy as well.
And he simply follows a different path than I. My only concern is that he may take matters into his own hands again. But I shall discuss matters with him.
He knows there's nothing can be said about this, so he's not. And my questions are done, my lord. I am. And if you have names for those who you want to create your cult with, I would be interested in hearing them. And there's a long way ahead of you to be a baron. The decisions needs to be made, and you need to create alliances and create enemies. I hope that you will create the right allies. Yes, smiles.
I hope so as well. As for names, I haven't decided on all of them yet. It's more considerations for the most part. I did meet one of your own clan, Niafiel, and you'd remember that name because he's an apostate of the path of community. So you would not.
I don't know about him, so I'm like,
okay.
I never heard about another celebrity in town.
He trains the city guard.
He's a city guard?
Yes, he is a skilled fighter, intent on defending the weak, but appears. I believe he said he would not bend the knee to whoever takes the position of Baron.
Will not?
No. I do not know what path he follows now. He
used to follow another path, you say?
He used to follow my road.
I don't know anything about your...
When Ulric introduced himself at the meeting with Santiago, he said he followed the road of humanity.
Oh, okay. So do I.
Yeah. And the way kind of Ulric says it, it kind of implies that there might be a bit more to this individual just leaving the road of humanity. It's kind of, he's not really hiding anything, so it comes across as this person may have done something when he left to offend those on the road, or at least offend Ulric. He is skilled in combat, and I appreciate his efforts to defend the weak. We had actually surprisingly. Oh, sorry, my apologies.
Does he still defend the weak?
He is still intent on the defense of the weak. Yes, he stated it quite bluntly, which is satisfactory enough for me. So long as none of the 6 laws are breached, I see no problem with his stay. He kind of looks up as if he's considering something. We actually had quite a surprisingly amicable chat, considering our respective histories.
He knows.
He was interested in my clan's abilities. I believe he wanted to overcome it, as I stated. It can drive even Canaanites who are unaccustomed to it into frenzy.
He did what, Malone?
Oh, it was curiosity on his part. I believe he took it as a point of challenge. Not offended, he just seemed interested. I believe he takes pride in controlling his own beast.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt I will be able to get him into court because of...
You break out.
Oh, sorry. Ulric says he'll be able to fit Niafiel into his court because he seems quite individualistic. He seems very driven to act on his own rather than for anyone else. But I have no problem giving most Canaanites in the city in general relative autonomy, so long as the peace is not disrupted.
You see, Rasim just surprised to hear about someone who just left Pet of Humanity, and like he never heard about this man, but he is sad that somebody left Pet of Humanity, Road of Humanity, and he is being more individualistic. Is kind of sad, but he's still like he can't understand how someone protects the humans, protects the weak, and becomes more individualistic. It's obvious on his face, like he just thinks.
Ulric says, I believe it may his code made to aid others may be something he does for himself, not necessarily out of. This isn't to say he's acting in self-interest, but that he believes it because he came to the conclusion himself. Needless to say, as a follower of a different road, I don't necessarily agree with all of his points of view. As one who made quite a spectacular display of leaving my own road.
I am surprised.
It's a shame, but if he is not causing harm to others, then I will not intrude on his business. I was, before I conversed with him so much, or I suppose before I met him and simply saw him fight, he did seem like a potential candidate for the position of Scourge, but I believe his individualistic nature may get in the way of that. I believe he isn't really interested in titles anyway. He seems to merely want to be and defend the city.
You see, Rasim lost words. Like he doesn't understand a celebrity who just left like that of individualistic celebrity kind of doesn't make sense for him because like he's a celebrity healer.
Hmm.
So like he's like he nods and roll me perception, empathy, and I'm gonna roll
Yep.
charisma subterfuge. I have 4 successes.
Oh, well, you hide it then.
Yeah, like you see that he doesn't like he just looks normal, and he says, "I will look forward to meet him. I Cosmo and I never knew that there was another person.
He's fairly blunt, but it shouldn't be too hard to get along with him. I don't think. I think he, as long as he tends to his own business, which he seems intent on doing, I don't think either of us will butt heads. I'll have to consider someone for each position. However, I have a few candidates for the harpy position. I was considering having 2 harpies in the city. It seems like a fairly adequate number given the amount of Canaanites I've seen. That would be a hard decision to make, though, as there appear to be quite a few capable candidates for that role.
He nods, smiles.
When it comes to the position of sheriff and hound, the sheriff's position seems like a more narrow race. I haven't met all the Canaanites in the city yet, so everything's still up in the air. But I can see individuals like, and then he thinks to himself, who has he really met? He thinks. It would seem as right now, considering how many Canaanites I've met, Casimo will be the front runner for the sheriff position, but I'm not entirely aware of how interested he is in the position.
It's good to have plans, and a couple people will be. The people in the city will be jealous. You need to make your decisions right because when you make someone or give a domain to someone, those people will want those domains or will want those positions. Not everybody can be happy at the same time. Rule and just and good rulers are just and good rulers for people who they feed.
As for those perhaps without a clan, I'm not sure how to categorize it. Our remain. I've never heard of such a clan, and her coterie of other individuals who are seemingly without a family. I was perhaps hoping to form those without a clan into a more cohesive power block so that they are able to maintain their position of having a voice, as I'm sure they're no doubt aware they're in the unusual position of mattering, to put it bluntly, as those without clan usually are either thrown out or worse.
He nods. He doesn't have any way of thinking about those people, like clanless.
Yeah, Ulric himself seems to have had difficulty categorizing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, as far as he knows, he's not really sure, but I'm intending to discuss it with Lady Shoshana in a few nights. I believe word got to her that I was looking for her. I can imagine them having concerns regarding their own reception in the city should a barony take hold. I know one of her friends stated that she was removed from her own clan because they did not like how she looked. I'm not sure as to what that means, but the more I think on it, she did seem to have unusual features about her.
Lord, what do we call people who does not? The basic knowledge is if you get kicked out by a clan, you're clanless. And the clanless called caitiff. I'm rolling perception empathy. What this guy thinks about caitiffs?
Oh yeah.
4.
You get the impression that really Ulric doesn't really know what to think. You kind of figure that this is perhaps the first instance he's ever met a caitiff, so he's still coming to his own conclusions. He doesn't seem to have anything against them, perhaps because he simply hasn't had time to make up his mind. He just seems to still be considering it. He doesn't seem to be offended by them, though. He more or less just seems like more of it's a curiosity to him, is a good way to put it. He's interested, but not they're not like trash or anything. He's like, that's sad. But it's like
you're in humanity, so
yeah, he doesn't really seem to have anything against him just because for the most part it's because he doesn't really know them all that well, so he's not strangely not mistrusting of them though, despite not knowing them, which may be a point of curiosity for Rasim. He doesn't seem untrusting of them, which may be a bit strange considering he seems very confused by them.
You see the door of the where we sit knocks, and Rasim says, "I'm sorry, I need to check." And he gets up. You see the man, another Imam, actually says that the time for the children has arrived, my lord. Arrived. And he says, he closes the door, and he comes and sits again. Sir Ulric, I'm really sorry, but I need to teach to the younglings in this who arrive to the mosque.
Oh, of course. I do not wish to keep you any longer.
It was a pleasure to talk with you, and I hope you will make decisions to have more allies.
Likewise, it was a pleasure. And I certainly hope I am able to prove myself capable. And Ulric will rise, and begin approaching the door.
You see, like, he will open the door. When you open the door, you see like 10 kids, Arab kids, French kids. They are poor kids. And you see an Imam, not the Rasim, the other Imam, just waits in front of them. And then Rasim goes towards them and starts to tell about history. And if you want, that can be the moment we can end our scene.
So we shall.